Well, I want to welcome everybody to our team elevation call, which is our personal team meeting. We do this every other Sunday evening at 7:00 Central. We've been doing elevation call now for almost 5 years. It's really something I look forward to every single week. We really know who is doing this business because who is on this call really is who's plugged in, which we're going to talk about that tonight. The way that we usually start this call is by recognizing people who are moving their business forward in two ways. What are those two ways, Hal?
So we recognize those who are enrolling new, either wholesale customer or business builders, bronze, silver, and gold packages by new enrollments on a monthly basis. So we recognize them weekly up until the end of the month. And of course, we want to recognize the accumulative effect of the month. And tonight we're going to actually recognize September as we've closed that out, and we're still early in October. So we're going to close out that. And then also we recognize, along with Zilis, it's on the leaderboard in your back office. If any of you didn't know where we're getting this information, so you can use your app and go to Zilis app. You can look under reports and leaderboard, and you have a this month report, you have an last month report, you have an annual report on enrollments and personal volume, meaning your purchases of product from Zilis that you get PV from. So last month in September, here's how we ended up. What Lisa and I are so happy about, proud of, are folks who've been in the business a while who end up at the end of the month on the leaderboard, and then new people who end up on the leaderboard. And we get both this month. And so let's see who that is. So speaking of been in the business a while, from last month, Judy Carver out of Kentucky ended up number 22 on the leaderboard in all of Zilis. And she's one of the first people that you tell the story often that you drug her into the business.
Yeah, she was under anesthesia.
She was under anesthesia and you got her involved. And as a result, there are a number of people on this call right now tonight, as well as a massive team down in Florida that we literally found as a result of Judy Carver sharing products and opportunity people. So anyway, Judy Carver out of Kentucky at number 22. Again, now close to that, Kristen Olander out of Georgia, who's been around a minute. She shared with us the last few weeks what Zilis means to her now, how she's approaching her business, even though she's been in the business quite a while. And now consistently for months, Kristen has been on the leaderboard. Kind of speaking of that, Wendy Berman, number 4 in all of Zilis, out in the San Francisco Bay Area. There she is. Wave at us, Wendy. There you go. All right, let's congratulate her for being number 4 on the leaderboard. And so really, she came in the business maybe August. I don't know.
Been maybe a month.
Yeah. August-ish, hit the ground running and she's done some of the things we're talking about tonight, some of the basics. And as a result, she's helping people change their lives, incredible stories coming out of her circle of influence, and then ending up on the leaderboard with Zilis. Do that for a while and you achieve rank and grow the income. All right, let's jump over to PV at number 22. Who is that? Oh, Mary Rising out of the Indiana area, and ending up at number 20. Drum roll, please. My mom, Helen Henson, in Fort Smith, Arkansas.
85 years old.
85 years old, bless her heart. And you know what? She's had a tough month. She had a little spill a couple of months ago and she's got a little thing in her back. And 85 years old, she's never, other than giving birth to us kids, she's never been in the hospital.
Never been
on medications. She's never been hurt, never had surgery, none of that stuff. And then watering my sister's flowers. She had a little small tumble a few months ago and it created some back issues. So anyway, but mom's at number 20, Helen Henson out of Fort Smith. So proud of all of you. Congratulations. And let's now move into October.
Yeah. So really excited, you guys. We've had a lot of new people who have joined our team. And I see Pam Riley. I didn't get to say hi to Pam in Arizona who's joined our call, but we've got Shannon Michelle, who was on last week for the first time in a long time. We also recognize that we have Shelly from the Shalimar, Florida area. She's new tonight. So I hope you know, guys, that one of the greatest joys in this business is really bringing new people in. And because of so much new growth, one of the things I thought is, I've been in this business now 5 years, and this is a different business than when I came in many ways. And so I wanted to do a call that would be kind of an onboarding call that we archive all of these elevation calls. And so when you have a new person, this is the call we want everyone to start with. So we're just going to call it onboarding, the basics, what to do when you've just joined the Zilis team. And so we're going to call on a few people to share some things tonight, but I wanted to kind of share 4 main concepts. And I'm going to have Hal help me with this as well, because obviously we've been doing this longer than anyone on the call. I was in a business similar to this for 13 years prior to Zilis. So I knew a lot going in. I wasn't one of the highest achievers in that business, but I learned a lot. And I had some good mentors. I really did apply myself quite a bit. So when we bring whatever we bring that we've done in the past, we bring into this new space. And so the one thing I wanted to kind of talk about first, we make money 2 ways in Zilis. And when you're new to this business, or let's just say that you're just kind of restarting in this business, like Kristen has been in this business for 4 years, and she is now coming into her greatest power right now. We talked about that 2 weeks ago as to, 4 years in, and she just made a decision that she was going to start building a team. And the work that she had done over those 4 years, she's really started with Wendy, and she had talked to Wendy 2 years prior to Wendy ever joining our team. So there's 2 ways to make money when you're in the Zilis space. Number 1, retail sales. Hal just kind of recognize those people who have the greatest amount of personal volume. And if you look at who is on the leaderboard for this month and last, there's a lot of people who took advantage of their red zone special and bought cases because they do a lot of retail sales. So retail sales are a very viable way to make money in this business. And if you don't know about the tiered cases, where you can actually order to get a price drop that would equal 200% profit, then get with whoever invited you in the business, have them show you the wholesale price list to see how you can actually create that retail income profit. It's a great thing for people who really love retail. But the way that I have focused since day one is on team building. And that team building aspect, in some ways, is not everyone's cup of tea. But for me, when I saw what this product did for my youngest son, I felt a moral obligation to share it with the world. And 5 years later, nobody knows about the endocannabinoid system. So literally, we have not yet begun to finish this project. And I had the unique benefit of talking to one of our founding members on Judy Carver's team this past week. And he's somebody who came in with Ultracell, which is our original hero product. It's liquid, it's a full spectrum hemp, it's berry, lemon, or raw. Many of you guys know and have loved Ultracell. It was, in 6 months, it was the leading product on the market. It's still a great product, but we have now developed, we have a generation 6 and 7 form of Ultracell, but he wasn't really familiar with any product beyond Ultracell. And so when we talk about how do you do this business,
he hadn't been plugged in for a while.
He hadn't been plugged in, and the pandemic really changed the world. And so for 2 years, he has not really been able to really get out. And I think a lot of us would agree that the pandemic has changed things. But the good thing about that is we have a chance to really begin again. And so with the first thing I want to share is really about plugging into the team.
So this is how to build a team.
Right.
So retail sales is one way. And the way that we make profit or put money in our bank or in our pocket is that we order products at wholesale, whether it's one product or a case or a bunch of cases or show specials, or if you have an auto ship where the company is sending you some extra product, it wouldn't be much because it's not a lot of product each month, but that would be something that could be sold where you put money in your pocket based upon your auto ship. That's some kind of retail sales. Some of you all have gone out and done trade shows, all kind of things like that. Some people actually have strongly set them up as a retail position. And that's not the focus of tonight's call. That's kind of the point. We all have done a little bit of that to some degree, but the long-term significant income, the way this company is structured, if Stephen wanted to do retail sales, he'd have just hired a sales force and have spent a lot of money on marketing, advertising on TV, in other ways, and just gone out and taken product to market in a traditional way and sold at retail, right?
Right.
He's given us an opportunity to do some of that, but the way this company is taking product to market, and rather than paying for TV advertisements and all the different ways of doing that in the retail space, paying a big sales force, he gives us the right and privilege to share the message through building teams who also share the message. And then that money that would have gone to marketing or whatever comes to us. So that's how we get paid. That's how the message goes forward. And the way to do that successfully is to do actions that other people can do in a successful way and duplicate that over and over and over again. And that's what we mean by building teams.
Well, but plugging into the team, which is the first concept, is for people who are doing retail as well as people who are actually building teams of customers.
Sure, yeah,
And so,
right.
So plugging into the team, in fact, anybody who's new, who's on this call, somebody had to tell you about it. I was going to have Wendy share a little bit, one of the things that she and I were able to brainstorm. If Wendy, Wendy, you're still there. I know that you're doing more than one thing at a time, but tell us what you did this weekend, Wendy, that was a first for you.
Well, I worked an event, a Hells Angels event. It was bikes and and car event, wheelie contest, the whole 9 yards. And actually Scooby helped me with it as well. She doesn't want to be on camera. She's being shy right now. But yeah, so we it was my first event coming out of the pandemic and so forth. So I think it went pretty well. The one thing I did do is I tapped into Lisa and Kristen, first of all, to brainstorm ideas. I think it's super important because you guys have been doing this a lot longer. And we were really, really organized with everything, which was key. And we kept it simple. If I had to do it over, I probably would have just focused on the cream and maybe the happy coffee. I had a few other products out there, but the cream for like people that ride motorcycles, wrist pain and all kinds of pain, actually. So that really resonated with them. And then just getting their attention, we didn't say things like we have CBD products, and not that we're ashamed of it, but sometimes they're like, oh, another CBD product, right? So we're calling it our magic cream. Hey, have you heard about this little magic cream that's helping a lot of people?
That's awesome. And Wendy, you had some success with retail sales. Do you mind telling us about that?
With this event, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, we kept it simple. We were prepared to collect like Venmo or, Zelle, but it was cash only. And I did buy wholesale. So I did make that investment because I figure the holidays are coming up right now too. And there's a lot of things going on. So making that initial investment in the wholesale products really drove that price down. So we were able to buy it, $29 and then sell for $70. So made quite a bit of profit on our sales.
And so you basically invested in cases and you bought at that quantity where you were able to bring the wholesale price from $59 down to $29 a unit. And you could have bought the 1 ounce cream. There's a lot of things that fall into that price category. And, that was a really, really smart move. And then you were able to turn around and you made, $200, whatever it was at the event.
Yep.
Not having had experience with this, not really having any of us to kind of walk with you and help you at the event, but having the courage and the initiative to really do it with you and your team, Wendy. And I want to shout out for you on that.
Oh, thank you. The last thing I want to touch on too, I brought these nice handy like capture sheets that a few of the women filled out with what their main areas of interest in. And a lot of them wanted to circle everything, right? So this was really nice for those that were in a rush, but really wanted to talk to me on a deeper level. And so I captured three of them. But I guess my advice to everybody is just go for it. Like sometimes I used to overthink things all the time. And I did overthink a little bit in this event. I have to catch myself, but you can't say anything wrong. You really can't. And if you're leading with your heart and with stories, it's a lot of fun. And we know with you're part of this company, it's life-changing. It really is. And make a little money on the way too.
Well, and Wendy, you also finished September number 4 on the leaderboard, and you're brand new in this business. So tell me, could you just give us an example of, because I know you're building a team and you've got some amazing people that I would love to bring back, like Suzanne. What are you saying just on the front end to people to kind of get their attention?
I've just been really sharing my story with the cream. I was actually sitting outside when I first got it, and I was talking to you, Lisa, and I rubbed it on my shoulder, and the pain, it went away. So, and then I rubbed it on Scooby's back. She's got arthritis in her back. So it just starts with that story. And with my roommate, Suzanne, she's really interested. And in the back of my mind, I thought I would love for her to be a business partner, but I knew if I pushed, she wouldn't, because she said to us, she's not a salesperson, which to me, everybody's a salesperson if you're not selling your kids on something, but that's not what Suzanne wanted to hear, really. But Suzanne just kept listening in to what I was saying. And then the key thing was getting them on a call with Lisa or Hal or Kristen to reinforce that third party, validation. And it's an easy thing to do. It really is. Let them do all the work for me right now.
Well,
you have a great way of facilitating that call. And
well, you say, let us do all the work, but that's not really true. You've done a lot of work.
Yeah.
What you've done is you've done significant, small, what I would call small, but important things in a consistent way, connecting with Kristen and Lisa in particular. I've been involved a little bit in that, but usually I get involved and I just share a little bit of my story where it fits. I'm not coaching, but I think plugging into the team, and you held up a minute ago, hold that up again, not so much that everybody will see it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. So where did you find that?
I found this in the back office.
Okay. And how did you know to find that in your back office?
Kristen's been helping me, like resources. And then I put a calendar reminder in my every day to just spend 10 minutes in the back office. I think I learned that on another call.
So perfect. Your sponsor told you about it and you went and found it and you printed it out and you used it.
Yep.
See, that's what we call, Kristen, building a team. So what Kristen did was helped you take another step forward with your business. And so you couldn't do that if you weren't plugged in with Kristen and Lisa and plugging in yourself into the available resources of Zilis. That's pretty simple.
And the other thing, Wendy, I have to, shout out, we talk or text, and I know you're talk or texting with Kristen as well, but daily, even on the weekends, and it doesn't have to be a long call, but you literally have understood the mindset that you are a baby wildebeest on the African plain unless you are connected to a team, your sponsor, your upline. And it doesn't even have to be directly related to you. If you get on every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday call, the opportunity calls that the company puts together with top leaders, you're going to hear people who are going to say one thing to kind of help you crystallize how to share this with other people. And so you have, from the beginning, really used those tools. You got on Team Unlimited, both the Learn as well as just the regular Facebook group, Team Unlimited. You've gotten on Zilis University. So you've really embrace these tools, Wendy. And I think you being on the leaderboard is just one of the ways that it shows that. And I know that the best is yet to come. We haven't even seen what you're capable of yet.
Stephen Thompson talks about, and he's said it several times in the last few weeks. And, if you take it just black and white, what he said, it's accurate, but inaccurate. He says that this business is a showing the plan. It's a presentation business. And, we come to that showing the plan or sharing with others or presenting kind of in different ways. From the very beginning, every single person who kind of signed the dotted line for whatever the reason you did, whether it was a product experience, hope for opportunity of income, maybe someone else's story, you signed the dotted line with the money you paid to get your products. And you wouldn't do that if you didn't have some story to share with other people from the very, very beginning. those stories and understanding and ability to share grows. The expertise of it grows. The ability to communicate it better grows over time. But it really is, in some ways, a business that's about sharing with others. Stephen calls it presenting, but we don't, you can call it that if you like. It's really sharing with others.
Sharing with others.
And times we share the full story, everything from our product experience to what cannabinoids are, what travel is, the packages available. And other times it is as simple as, hey, you want to try this magic cream? Here's what it did for me.
Right.
That's presenting in some way.
And so the concept I want you guys to understand is this is a mastermind group. You might not see your role in this, but there are people that we will never meet if you don't introduce us to them. And that is a really important part. This is really adult learning. This is an adult business. Everyone comes to this with a track record of success in something else. I was an ICU nurse, I'd done pharmaceutical marketing, but I had never built a business from scratch. And so I felt pretty darn stupid. And in fact, it was a little humiliating because I did so poorly by my own assessment for so many years.
With another company.
Prior to Zilis. And so what I want you to understand is, number one, you're here for a reason. Number two, you're part of our collective mastermind. We've made a lot of mistakes that we don't want you to have to make. And that was kind of one of the cool things about talking to Wendy about exhibiting, don't overbuy, just keep it simple and go meet people, it takes courage we don't know if the Hells Angels biker group is going to be a great event for Wendy or not, but she made it good and she made it productive. And so plugging into the team, you are the team.
That's the first point.
That is the point we really want to hammer home. So number two, radical ownership. Hal, tell us about that.
Yeah. So radical ownership, because it's your business. We're going to help you. If you have an upline of people who've been in the business a while, who've learned some of the things we're talking about, they too are going to help you. However, your personal growth in this business, concerning your ability to build a business, to communicate with others, to find the back office, to learn what's in the back office, you're going back to school. I mean, you taking radical ownership of your business and your income, your opportunity, is really 100% up to you. 100% up to you. We can enhance it. We can help you. But every single one of us, our success is based upon us personally taking ownership of the things that we have to do to become successful. One of the great things about a business like this is that there are people like us who have learned from others and will pass that on to you. And I don't know honestly of any other teams, and it's not to brag on us, but what I'm saying is that we are committed to this call to help you. We are committed to be available to our team as much as possible. We're incredibly available. And I'm not saying that because you don't already recognize that. That's a wonderful thing. Unfortunately, though, in sometimes our availability, all the teaching that we do, sometimes it weakens you, because oftentimes we end up doing more for your business than you'll do for yourself. And I'm just saying, when the times get tough, sometimes you got to figure it out. You just have to. That doesn't mean go off the range. It doesn't mean anything like that. But you have to buckle down. You have to read. You have to listen outside. You have to go out and do things you don't like doing. You have to stretch yourself. You have to discipline yourself. You have to give yourself to the process. An outside example right now for me, and I hope I'll get it done and get it finished. I'm actually enjoying it, but I've been trying to write a couple of books for several years. And what I've just finally realized is there's a process that I just have to give myself to. And sometimes I do not want to sit down and do that work. Or I've got a schedule of the day, and it's like, if I get into it, I won't be able to complete it. So I'm just going to put it off till tomorrow. And I've decided, for me, on that project, something new for me, is to give myself to the process. I'm taking ownership of the books that I want to deliver to the world. I'm taking greater amount of ownership of it. And there'll be times in your business where your ownership will be tested, and we're going to be here for you. Right. And there'll be other people and other tools here for you. However, to be successful really in anything, but in this business, because that's what we're talking about, is you taking radical ownership of your business. You know, it is my responsibility and no one else's. I'm just literally reading exactly what Lisa wrote down here. It's my responsibility and no one else's, you know, to build this and to build myself. So that is a key thing that we try to communicate to people. So we said, plug in, yes, plug into your leaders. And we say that first in order of things, because a lot of times people are not quite ready to take like full ownership in the beginning. But at some point, literally at some point, you're just in the business or you're going to build the business. And the difference between the two in that space is being in the business and building the business. It are the people who take radical ownership of it as a business for themselves.
Like Wendy has done.
Well, and she's new,
she's
and she's
brand
done
new.
that. And there are those that have been around a while who are just now taking radical ownership. There are others who from the start have taken radical ownership. And I can tell you when you'll find out whether you have radical ownership, it's when you go through times when the business is not growing, when it's maybe retracting a bit. And you hang in and you continue to build and you continue to grow and you continue to help other people. That's when you know you have radical ownership. And then you'll have some increases in your business, some successes, some learning, some new people come along, and you'll go, oh, all that radical ownership I was holding on to, now I'm beginning to see it pay off. And now I'm seeing it impact other people's lives.
Yeah. Kristen, how does that feel? Kristen, can you unmute just a minute?
Yes.
How does it feel, you know, to see the radical ownership, the decision you made after 4 years in the business to really, you know, radically change your mindset and take the action to build? Now seeing, you know, you're on the leaderboard and Wendy's on the leaderboard and she's got other people that will be on the leaderboard. How does that feel?
Well, it feels empowering and it feels good every morning to be inspired to go out and meet more. You know, we are the first impression and we have an opportunity to go out and talk to a lot of people about these different things. And so I'm just delighted about all the work that's going in to building the team.
Well, we're proud of you guys.
Thank you.
And Christina Durham is another person who I observe that she is taking daily steps with radical ownership of her business. Christina, tell us just kind of, you know, what you have been doing lately. I mean, I see you on Facebook doing lives. I see you doing a lot of networking. So how do you take radical ownership of this business?
It's really kind of been something that's built. I know Stephen Thompson talks about, you know, what you do for the next 3 months, you'll reap the rewards for, you know, the next 3 months after that. And I'm really seeing that that's really the way business is building for me. I am doing networking groups, and with that, it's kind of building its own march, if you will. It seems like every week just reaches out a little bit further into the next couple of weeks. So that's really exciting to just see that fill up. I know that's something Angela and I talked about too, just that. But for me, really working on time management has been a big thing, making sure that even when I'm out, you know, with the one-on-ones a week and the networking, that I make that time to really sit down and take the time for those follow-ups and to make those new connections for the people. I've actually taken all the business cards that I have and kind of stuck them in a pile of, all right, people I'm already talking to, people that I want to talk to. And then just when time gets slow, it's just random, you know, cards of people that, you know, God's going to give me what I need to say to them that day. And kind of, you know, in my own mind, as I dig through those, but I'm also doing retail, you know, and I do that through the social media, Facebook. I do that with a couple boutiques that I'm online with, and then working with Zilis now and trying to get a website and things up and going. because our dreams, Chris and I, we just aren't going to be stationary. So we want to start building that now so that, you know, a year and a half down the road, it's kind of already got like everything seems to be moving forward and it's got its own rhythm at that point, instead of, you know, jumping into what life's going to have then and trying to start building something new then. So there's a lot moving with the Zilis side of it, with the products, and then also the travel side of it. And when I'm out networking, I network all of that at one time. I'm like, this is me. This is what I've got to offer. And it's really been interesting to see who picks up different pieces of that, you know, conversation or that 45-second commercial, if you will. And they pick it apart and what they pick out of it. And then the questions that they have after that seem to be skewed. They come to me and say, you know, this is what I want to know about. So what do you got? So it's been really cool.
Awesome. Well, I love the energy that you use. Just from day one, Christina, you just, you have a joyous energy, and it's very attractive to people. And that's something that we've always seen in you, and you've done it your own way and in a beautiful way. So thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. I have never lived in a box very well. So for me, this is really nice to be able to kind of find just who I am as a person. And then listening to some motivational speakers, you know, they say to go out and, you know, if you're building a business, who do you really want to tap into? And I know where my story has, you know, got me to now. So it's really been interesting in the last couple of months. God's really working in my mind about the type of people that I'm really supposed to gravitate towards. So it's really been a cool thing when you can kind of piece all that together. I've told you before, I'm a breadcrumb person. So I pick up all the little bits and pieces that have kind of been dropped along the way for me. I'm blessed to be able to see those. So it's really cool to see it all come together now, all these years later.
Well, we sure love watching it as well. And in fact, you know, you brought up a great point, you know, talking about retail is, so the third point, we've talked about plugging into the team. We've talked about radical ownership. The third point is finding your hero product or products. And those products that you have an amazing story, you know, with Wendy, it's Magic Cream, which is our topical. Christina has another story, and she's got travel as well. And I'm sure every single one of you on this call have a product within the Zilis line, and maybe multiple products. Sharon Michelle shared a little bit about her dad, who has had dementia issues, and just the reason she's reactivating with Zilis is because she's seen the difference that this product has made in her father's life. And it's those kind of stories that really help you find your product, your products. And that is really a very, very important part of our business. At the end of the day, I think one of the main reasons that I have, through come hell and high water, through challenges, through my own challenges in life, that I've stuck with this mission, is because it is almost a noble calling to see what this whole cannabinoid, the hemp project is what we refer to this, the life-changing nature of the product line that we represent is really what drives me. And so that hero product, what is your hero product? And if you don't really know the line, you need to get to know the line. Would you agree?
Yeah. So, you know, write down the words hero product for you. All right. What is your hero product? Zilis is set up for us to be able to purchase the business builder kits at a greater discount based upon the package, the bronze, the silver, and the gold. And so once you find, you know, some of us have already gotten gold packages, but they offer, you know, specials from time to time. But building from what we would call the gold position, meaning that's the highest, pretty much, that's the highest level that's regularly offered as a product line, a 20% team build, and we're not going to go into all of that. But the gold line in Zilis is the top of the line, all right? But having that mentality of, what is my golden product? What fits with my golden story? What is it easy for me to tell? You know, for some of you right now, even still, the golden product is the people you get to work with. Like the people that you've seen one or two people's lives change. Or maybe it's your pets, like the Workmeisters, their bunnies. I mean, that's a big part of their golden story, but it's a part of it. And they build that story around the bunnies it feels like gold in their hands. It really does feel like gold. And so building from a gold position is not just becoming like a gold, getting the highest, biggest package and getting the largest percentage of return on it. But what's your gold? What's your hero product? And if you need to get a restart for your business, whoever you are, no matter how long you've been in, think about it. If you've been in quite a while, go back to the golden product. You don't have to use the new ones. You don't have to be in love with travel. You don't have to even be in love with like Shield or Glow. You don't have to be in love with Liché. Maybe you're a berry CBD. My brother just traded us 4 packages of Glow for 4 CBD berries because that's what works best for him at 59 years old. And for whatever reason, that's his hero product for himself. But if you don't have a hero product or an overall hero message, you just heard Lisa's taking the message of the endocannabinoid system. For us, we believe it's just a massive part of who we are, especially Lisa with her background in health. It's so important for people to know. But if you don't feel strongly about it as her, that's okay. It's not your golden story. But you do have to find your golden story in order to build. So yeah, plug in, take ownership, but recognize whether you do or do not have a golden story. And if you don't, we hope that you'll hang in long enough to find your golden story.
Or use someone else's.
But you got to have your own.
You got to have passion.
You really do have to have your own to become long-term successful in helping other people and sharing your golden story. And then you're going to do like we've done. You're going to have people on your team that their golden story is different than the one across the screen or across the room. So,
and that's what makes calls like this, when we bring multiple voices together and everyone kind of shares their hero product story is amazing. And I want to shout out to Judy Carver, who we've already talked about tonight, because Judy has not been real plugged in just due to life. And that's another great thing about this business model is when you build it and you've got residual income, you can take some time off. You keep your auto ship coming, keep it at 100 BV. You've got us. We're still working.
Yeah, we never take time off.
We don't take time off. We're always here because I have real issues with people who start a business and then disappear. It happened to me in my first business. So Judy Carver texted me the other day and she goes, I committed to do an event at a retail store and she's not been plugged in a while. Judy, I don't know if you can just say hello or not. Are you in a place where you could say hi?
Me.
A little bit. You're kind of.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's not really great reception.
That's okay.
That's okay,
We'll try
Judy.
another time.
Okay. Here I am. No.
There you
I
are.
think if I walk out here, you'll hear me better. Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Well,
hear you
I
now.
have my new house has a middle roof on it, and there's places in my house that places are part of it, you know.
Well, Judy,
So,
walk outside
yes.
because we're still not hearing you completely.
Okay, well, you should be able to hear me right now. Am I
So
out
tell
here?
us how did your event go Saturday?
Well, it was fun. I felt like me again.
There you go. There you
that
go.
was-
We can stop right there.
Yeah. Well, it was fun and it was. A lot of what I've done for so long, just kind of came back to like riding a bicycle, I guess. But I was really having panic attacks about it. And I took my new person who had an absolutely awful experience the very first thing. And it was, we've laughed about it. I said, well, we got that one out of the way. But she was putting stuff up on she was carrying the stuff and putting it on the table. And she's only been on product a week, a little over a week, you know, and so she just so brand new with everything. And first thing happened is that a vendor right next to us walked over to her immediately before I even got there and said, you know that this is illegal, and we had people that worked for us that lost their jobs. And I mean, he just started on her, and she had no idea what to say. And when I came up, she had this look on her face like, oh, am I going to lose my job? And I'm going down. And I went over to talk to the guy, but he was one of those know-it-alls that, you know, wasn't going to back down on anything he had said, and that's okay. But we worked through that one, you know. But the look on her face was, you know, really priceless, because I mean, he really hit hard. So anyway,
Well, Judy, I just wanted to recognize you for facing your fear, and also for bringing your new ambassador to an event where you were able to really mentor and train her. And that's, you know,
And throw her
it's-
right into the fire. Thanks,
Throw-
Judy. You
throwing her
did
into the
great.
yeah, I really did, you know. And you know, I mean, she had no idea about anything, and other than she'd been on product, and is a nurse, and so she works full time and has a lot of issues. So, you know, we haven't been able to really do a whole lot together. But you know, she met me at 7 o'clock, and we drove to Princeton, and there were pretty happy people, and they are one of my customers. They're ambassadors from a long time ago, but they still had product, but it wasn't moving because the new owner didn't even know what he had. It was just in a glass case. So our goal was to just kind to help him build some business. And I think we did sell a couple bottles, but you know, the main thing was there were 2 or 3 people that I feel like will go back and buy from him. And they have
Awesome.
my phone number if they need something and whatever. So it was a good day. It was just, you know, it was a success, because I guess because we just did it.
You
just
just
did
did it.
That's right.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Proud of you, Judy.
That's
Awesome,
awesome.
awesome. So
Anyway,
fourth and
That's
final
it.
point. Thank you,
Thank you,
dear.
Judy.
Thanks for being on.
mhm.
So fourth and final point, guys, and we could go.
So we did plug in,
Mhm.
radical
Radical
ownership,
ownership,
your golden story, your golden whatever,
hero products.
your hero products. Mhm.
And then here's the fourth thing, and this is really something that we spend the rest of our life in this business doing, and that is learning how to activate our network. You're not going to build this in a weekend. You're not going to build it in, you know, a week. You're not going to build it in a year. And that's why we choose our team carefully, because this is more of a marathon than it is just a little sprint. We you know, are very, very careful who we extend the invitation to actually join us in business.
What do you
Because
mean by that?
because
I wasn't careful.
oh,
So go ahead.
well, so what I mean by that is that this is somewhat like a marriage, and this is somewhat like a family. And so you only want the very, very most amazing people in that family. And so if you're on this call and you can hear our voice, you are here for a reason. And we love, like, you can't imagine how much love we have for you guys, and love the mission that we share together. But learning how to activate that network is finding the people in your phone, in your Facebook, in your world that you truly care about and want to help. That if you were going to earn $1 million, you would want them involved. If you could help them with better health, with long-term income, you would want them involved. If the people who you respect, that you admire, people who are better than you, that is who we want to activate our network with. And so part of that is really what I've seen over the last 5 years. This is what trips up more people than anything, is being able to finally identify that network that is the potential business person, the potential customer, and how do you communicate what we're doing, this project that is so important. How do we communicate that to the outside world? And we've tried through our, just through our conversation on this call, we try through other tools. We have Facebook groups, but at the end of the day, you have to recognize your own, what's inside of you and how to communicate that in a way that is not only not salesy, but it's not about giving, inviting somebody that doesn't want to be invited. It's about rejection-free recruiting, that you're going to observe a process so that you don't have people say no to you, that nobody wants that. And we're not going to extend an invitation unless we think it's right for them. So this process of learning how to activate your network, we have written extensively. We have the leadership ladder. For new business builders, I actually have a whole project broadcast where I send my business text, like 2 months worth of text every other day as to what to do next to build your business. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll sign you up on it. But we have put together so many things to help people learn how to create this tapestry of customers and ambassadors that ultimately we are going to create this amazing dynamic organization, this evolving team with, but ultimately it's also going to create a very significant residual income. And that type of income is worth the work. And that is really probably the biggest piece of this. You want to add to that?
Well, yeah, so because you make the notes for our outline,
I did tonight.
you did tonight, and we worked together on it. And when it says learn to activate your network, here's what I hear. Get with it. Talk to people. That's what I hear. But I hear you say, learn a bunch of things to how to specifically find the right people, because you got to have the right people to build a team. And yet, at the same time, there's a lot of people who would use finding the right people as their excuse to not talk to hardly anybody. And that's not activating your network. Or I've already talked to those people. So when I think about activate your network, I think about what I was told to do from the beginning, which was write down 50 names on a piece of paper and start contacting those people and sharing with them what I would experience. That's activating my network.
That's one way.
That's one way.
Mhm.
And so for some of you, you might want to actually start with that and recognize that there's a good chance that all 50 people are going to say no. They're just not interested. But you've begun to learn how to activate your network. You're learning how to communicate the message to activate a network of people. So on this call, you guys, most of you are on the video and some of you aren't, and that's fine. But for those of you who are on the video, how many of you, raise your hand for this, how many of you who have shared with some of the closest people to you that would have been on your first list of people to contact, how many of you have more than 3 people from that list on your team? Raise your hand now. That are on your team now.
Susan Everett, yeah.
Susan Everett has more. Okay. She's one. All right. Who are really building, not just taking products, but actually activating the network and building. Oh, Susan gave a thumb down. So those first 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 people, very few of them are actually going to say yes and actually move forward. Would you agree with that or not?
Not according to what we've seen with Wendy, because
So Wendy is at present unique.
Mhm.
Now, here's the thing. For you spent how many years activating your network and
13.
building relationships with another company?
13.
13. And yet when you got involved with Zilis and saw your golden product, the life-changing story of the cannabinoid system, you went to some of those people that you'd had relationships with in the business world and this whole philosophy of transfer buying and health and wellness, and you built a team with that to start with, right? And Judy Carver's one of those people.
Judy is one of them.
Right. So, and it led to other people. But the point is, activating your network is a process of failure, learning, focusing, and continuing to activate and build your network of people in your life. But if you wait for knowing exactly how to do it,
Right.
what are you going to learn?
Nothing.
Nothing, right? And then, that's not, so the word activate literally means action.
It means action. And, Wendy, we've used her as an example just because she's done a lot of action. But I have learned a lot over the last 20 years on how to do what we call rejection-free recruiting. And so if you feel like this is what is keeping you from success, is knowing what to say to people, then you need to let us know and let us kind of brainstorm. How do you talk to people? One of the best people that I know, and all you have to do is spend 5 minutes with her to see how good she is at activating even the 3-foot rule, is Jenny Todd. Jenny Todd, how do you do it?
You just reach out your hand and you say, hello, my name is such and such. You just reach your hand out and say, hello. What are you doing here? Where are you from? I don't know. You just talk to people.
You
Does
love
a
on
great
people.
job.
What?
You guys love on people.
You just reach your hand out and say hi and introduce yourself and just go from there.
And Stephen Todd said something as well.
I just said she's really good at that. We go everywhere we go, and she's relaxed. She's not pushy with it, or it's just her. She's worked at it. It didn't come as part of what she was born that way or anything. It's just she works at meeting people and contacting. And some people say, "Hey, yeah, I like you." There's always a vibration around people. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. And your vibration hooks up with them. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But she's really good at being relaxed and poised and just persistent in her efforts to be able to reach out to people. Some
If you
of them-
don't say anything, you don't
Nothing
get a
happens,
name
yeah.
or contact.
Yeah.
So true.
So Lisa, let me just share this. So Lisa has learned by actively engaging
Right.
in not just the people she knows, but in meeting new people. And so just like Jenny said, you reach your hand out, you say, hi, I'm so-and-so, nice to meet you. What are you doing here? And that's like meeting people at the restaurant and the beach and that sort of thing. And it doesn't turn into, and then you don't turn right around and say, let me tell you about the endocannabinoid system.
No.
My husband's a doctor. He can tell you all that. We want you to come to this meeting on Thursday night so you can hear all about this and how to get rich and make money with CBD. That's not what you do, is it, Jenny?
No.
No. But at the same time, like Lisa, let me give you an example yesterday of her expanding and activating her network. We met for a little tailgate before the Alabama whipping of Arkansas out there at the parking area that we go to. And there was a new couple there that I barely knew him, had never met her. The other couple was actually the couple we went to Hawaii with this last summer. So they're pretty close friends and so forth. It was a little tailgate, nothing big and special. We sat around in our chairs that we brought. We got there a little late because of the traffic. And so this other couple, his name is Steve and her name was Becky. So I sit there and just listen to Lisa engaging with that couple after a little bit of just talking about different things. So what brought y'all to Northwest Arkansas? What do y'all do for a living? Oh, we're retired. Well, what brought you here? And then, so what do you do? And what do you do? And how did y'all meet? And so you're not a Razorback fan. You've become that. How did you become a Razorback fan? Why? That's probably 5-8 minutes of Lisa. And I'm just sitting here just watching her. And it's genuine, but she is gathering. She's asking those people that in that relationship, we're not trying to recruit them, but what if it's actually God's kind of plan or the universe's plan that at a tailgate at the back, just prior to the whipping of Arkansas by Alabama, I'm just going to go ahead and say it one last time tonight, that Lisa engaged with those people and she drew them into her network. They were not in her network before, and I have seen her do that hundreds of times with people, and more often than not she ends up with either giving but almost always receiving, getting one person's phone number. And it might be about a recipe on cookies. It might be about line dancing. It might be about where you get your hair done. It might be because they have a son in North Carolina, just like Lisa does. You never know, but she's activating her network. And I will tell you, we put activating your network as the fourth principle to build your business because it is that important and it continues to be. So plugging in, we wouldn't do this call if we didn't think it was important. You taking ownership of your business, radical ownership, it's that important. You have to do that. The third thing that we think is so important, and you can sum it into one word, your golden little story. What this has done for you, the thing that ignites you when you want to talk about it, you almost have to refrain yourself from saying too much. And then the fourth thing is you've got to activate and build that network. You got to talk to the people and you got to meet people.
And Hal referenced just the people that you initially have on your list. And a lot of us put friends and family. And when I, was in, early in this business, we understood something called endocannabinoid deficiency syndrome. If you don't know what it is, look it up. Endocannabinoid deficiency syndrome is something that, because of a deficiency in the ECS, people develop symptoms. And those symptoms are often seen and labeled by the healthcare system as something that is a very difficult to treat illness. Example, irritable bowel syndrome, fibromyalgia, migraine headaches, treatment-resistant anxiety and depression, bipolar. The list has grown since we've been in this business. Well, so I've seen over and over again that just a small amount of Ultracell and CBG can really help people with migraine headaches. How many of you guys have had somebody in your life that has seen that result? Yeah, I think a lot of us have. Well, so I have one sister, of course, she's been on every list I've ever had, and she's never done anything in the 100 years that I've been in direct selling. Like, she's resistant. I've brought her to a physician, a pain management doc, giving the endocannabinoid system overview, and she wouldn't even sample the product. I mean, like, she would not. So one Christmas, I brought her a large bottle, valuable.
3 years ago.
3 years ago, a CBD and a CBG for Christmas. I thought that'll get her. That was her Christmas gift. And she wouldn't take it. She didn't take it.
Never opened it.
Never, ever opened it. So she has just started, and she's 2 years older than I am. She was in house class, which is the good thing. But so she knows everything. She's my older sister. Susan, do you know anything about that? She's like, yeah. So just this last month, and this is, there's a reason I'm telling you this story. She started not of a job, but a very high responsibility. She's managing about 300 people and a very important project for her. And she started getting migraine headaches again. I grew up with, she had horrible, debilitating migraine headaches her whole life until she wasn't really working. And then now she's getting them again. So I said, Julie, why don't you, that bottle I gave you 3 years ago for Christmas, which is beyond expiration, but still works, why don't you try a bottle of CBD and CBG? And she pushed back a little bit, but said, I'll try it. Well, she's not had a migraine
5
headache.
weeks later.
5 weeks since using the
And
CBD.
she made her first major presentation last week. That's what the call was about.
Yeah, she called to say, that she had done this, first presentation that she's done a long time. And she goes, I got a little bitty headache that morning, but it never went anywhere. And I didn't have to use medication in order to prevent it. And so 5 years into this business, guys, I will get her to sign up as a wholesale customer. I mean, I'm just saying, like, she's the only sibling that I have, and she knows everyone in Redding, California. So don't give up. You become more valuable the longer that you are in this business, because then it's not like, hey, I just joined this new thing and this market will test you. You guys have already passed the test. Your greatest power is now. And when you have this team and you have access to all of us together, the collective mind, mastermind, you guys, nobody can stop you. So
let me put a plug in for tomorrow night. We're going to wrap it up. We're 8 o'clock. Tomorrow night, the Freedom Call, Stephen is bringing in, what's the attorney's name?
Jonathan,
Jonathan
Miller.
Miller, who is not our attorney, but we use him as our hemp attorney. And he's probably the top hemp CBD attorney in the United States, as relating to how government and FDA and all that is working with these products. Very, very important, and under the Trump administration, when we got hemp into the Farm Bill and passed and became federally legal, and also has played a big part in state regulation, not regulation, but state decisions. So they've been working. Stephen's been in Washington. He was at the state capitol last week. We don't know any details, but he's going to have Mr. Miller be this feature for tomorrow night. Stephen doesn't usually bring him in unless there's some significant moves and shifts forward that'll benefit our businesses and our company. And I think what Stephen has said is they're moving toward making these mom and pops and these gas store bathtub CBDs kind of begin to kind of go away, which has been a real challenge for us when people are offering a $15 bottle of CBD that's not going to work. It's not going to happen tomorrow night, but that's a big move forward. And I think you'd find it interesting and encouraging to hear that message that Mr. Miller and Stephen will be talking about. I think it'll be a freedom call that's unique in regards to that and very timely. I don't think Stephen Miller's been, or Mr. Miller has been on our call in a couple of years. And so it must be fairly significant for that. So I think you'd find it interesting.